Okay, so I've got a Toyota Prius here. It's a Gen 2. It's a 2007. What I want to do is I want to use the PICO scope to check the function of the DC to DC converter, basically the charging system. I want to see if the charging system is actually operating properly. So this vehicle, the battery was dead on it, and it was probably just from sitting, but I still want to check the function of essentially the charging system, which consists of a DC to DC converter. So I've got my PICO scope set up. I've just got a 2-channel PICO scope. I've got a high amp clamp on one terminal and just a regular set of alligator clips on the other terminal. So I'm going to start with the PICO scope first. I'm going to go to PICO scope 7. Upper pause, there we go. All right, now I always like to go to the guided tests because it kind of gives me an idea of how to hook this up. So I'm gonna go to starting and charging first. Okay, and I want to just look at the charging system on this. Okay, and I want to look at alternator voltage and current, and again the 12-volt system. There we go. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the PICO or maybe haven't used it a lot, I sometimes will choose the guide and settings file first because that will actually show me how to hook this up. So I'm going to choose that first. Okay, and what it does, it gives me a picture of how to hook it up. Okay, so I've got my 2 leads there to the battery. I've got my amp clamp. Now, we don't have an alternator in this case. We have a DC to DC converter, but essentially it's going to be the same hookup. And this does actually give you some instructions on performing the test, and I've already read through it. And the nice part about a PICO, it actually gives you some sample known good waveforms, give you an example of a waveform. So the blue is going to be my voltage, the red is going to be my charging system. And it also includes a waveform library with some examples of, I'll call them bad waveforms and what could cause some of these issues. So again, I like to read through the guide here before I do a test. So, all right. So I've already read through that. I'm just going to go ahead and make the hookup. Now, whenever you're using a PICO, the very first screen that you see is always going to be an example waveform. Okay, so this is nothing more than a sample right now. But let me make my hookup, and then I'm going to hit running, and then we'll actually get the actual reading of what we have. So. Okay, so I'm going to take my 2 leads, I'm going to take these right to the battery, positive and negative. And unfortunately, you really can't see down in there. It's kind of cramped in there. Okay. And this, I'm just going to send this right around the battery negative. Okay. Okay, all right, so what I've got on the screen right here is with the vehicle off, I've actually got just a little over 12 volts. Now the cool thing about a PICO scope is it's right in between 12 and 14. I can drag this cursor down and actually get an exact reading of what it is. So I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to hover right over that line, and we actually have 12.74 volts right at the battery. All right, you can actually see my charging system right now is 0 because again the car is off at this point. So I'm going to go power up the car, I'm going to ready the vehicle and see what we actually get for a charging system. Perfect. Okay, so I put the car in ready mode. Connection issue there, all right. So you can actually see my charging current came up. Now I'm going to drag this cursor right here for this channel. I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to hover right over there And I'm getting about 46.6 amps of charging system current. Again, now this is not a traditional alternator. This is a DC to DC converter. And I have to tell you this too, is the battery was dead when I first got this vehicle this morning. So that's pretty high. That's a lot of current to be sending into that battery, but the charging system is working. The charging system is actually working in this case, so. All right.